Welcome once again to Maxi class. You are welcome today, you are welcome tomorrow, and you are welcome every day on this channel. Today we are going to do something special for you. And today our lesson is a Big 7 lesson for all those in Big 7. Today we are going to teach you about living and non-living things and the structure of what? Of cells. That's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to break them into parts so that you can get whatever is going to go on here. So today our lesson is for those in Basic 7. Those in Basic 7. Basic 7 student, this is your lesson. And we are looking at living and non-living things. Then we stretch it out to what? To cells. You understand why we are said to be living things and why we have cells and what they do. You are going to get a lot of understanding from this lesson today. Been very, very interesting. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get into this. Now, if we look at this vast universe, there are so many things in this universe. There are so many. But all these things, so in the universe, we have things. In the universe, we have things in this universe. All these things can be grouped into what? Into two. All the things we have in the universe, all that you see, can be grouped into two. These things can either be living, or non-living. Either be living or what? Unliving things. Now, under what circumstance do we classify some things we want to be living and other things we want to be non-living? Now, anything that is living has some characteristics that it's supposed to possess or it's supposed to have. If you are not living, you don't have that characteristic. So as we are here, it's either you are here or there. That's what we are coming to do here. Now, when we say living things, so under what criteria do we put an organism as living? And under what criteria are we going to put an organism as non-living? So I come to study today. Good. Now, living things, or when we say living, or a thing is living, then that thing must perform some specific functions, some specific life activities. If you can perform all these life activities that are listed down, then you are considered what? A living thing. But if you cannot perform all the life activities, then you are not what? A living thing. So we have said that in this vast world, we have things. A thing can either be living or what? Or non-living. So we have living or non-living. If you are living, then there are some basic characteristics that you possess. There are some basic life activities that you can perform. Once you perform that life activity, then we say that what? You are living. But if you don't perform that, then automatically you fall under what? Under non-living things. And you know them. But let's go over again. So before we even define what living things are, I just want to get a concept here. Now, for living things, what are some of the characteristics or the life processes? So living things must perform certain life processes. What are those life processes? 1. Living things must perform certain life processes. 1 is movement. All living things must what? Must move. 2 is respiration. All living things must respire. 3, I'll explain what these things means. 3 is sensitivity or irritability. Every living thing must be able to do this. Now, from this, then every living thing must also be able to grow. I'll go deep into these things. Grow. So we have growth. Then we have reproduction. Reproduction, a topic that most students are very, very interested in. And I'm going to treat this topic one day for them. Reproduction. Then we also have excretion. We have excretion. we have excretion, then we also have, lastly, and very important, is nutrition. Lastly and very important is what? Is nutrition. Now, if an organism can do all these, then that organism or that thing is considered what? Living. If, again, if anything in this world can perform all this, can move, can respond, can respond to a stimuli, can also grow, can reproduce, can excrete, and also feed, that's nutrition, then that guy is considered what? Living. And all these things here, all these dimensions are referred to as what? As life processes. If you have life, then you can do all this. If you don't have life, you can't do all this. The dead man cannot do this. He cannot move. None of this can be done by someone who is dead. That means the person does not have what? Life. Hence, refer to these things as what? As life activities or life processes. So these things are referred to as what? Life activities. So these are the life activities. So anything at all that can perform all these life activities, that can move, respond to stimuli, grow, reproduce, excrete, and also feed itself, or get food, or eat, then we are calling that organism or that thing living. But anything that cannot do this, so as and now you can tell what living things are and what non-living things are. So for me to be a living thing, I need to perform what? All these life activities. Therefore, how do we define living things? How do we define living things? Living things are what? Are things that perform certain life what? Activities. They perform certain life activities. Good. So let's define living things. Now, before I forget, this note is on www.maticlass.com. When you get to the website, what you do here is to go to JHS1, which is the basic 7, navigate to your science, then download the note from there. Once you have the note downloaded, all that I'm saying is present there with some nice pictures, carefully prepared and simplified notes for you to understand what is going on here. Good. So if you don't have the note, you can pause the video, go back to the website, get the notes, and come and follow. That is what we do here. That's what we do, to give an understanding of what's going on here. Good. So that is what we're talking about when we talk about living or living things. So therefore, let's define living things. What are living things? What are living things? Let's take it from here. Living things are things. Living things are things that perform certain life activities or learning life process. So these are living things. Living things are things that perform certain life activities. What are those activities? They can move, they can respond, they respond to stimuli, they grow, they reproduce, they excrete, and they also feed. So anything at all that is doing this is what? Is a living thing. And non-living things are those that cannot perform. So that's the opposite of it. What are non-living things? They are things that cannot perform, things that cannot move. This stone cannot move. This duster cannot move unless I move it. It's what? It's a non-living thing. It cannot reproduce, neither can it respond to stimuli. Good. Now, the living things are grouped into what? Into 2. In fact, living things are grouped into 5. But for the sake of our level, we group them into what? Into 2. I'll still mention the other ones. Good. So we group living things into 2. We have plants. Living things can either be plants, or can be what? Animals. Living things can either be what? Plants or what? Or animals. Good. So these are the groups of living things. But there are 5 groups of what? Of living things. And for the level, we are going to look at just 2. The other 3, we have prokaryotes, we have fungi, and we have protocista. We have prokaryotes, we have fungi, and we have what? Protocista. These are also other groups of what? They are also living. They are not plants, they are not what? Animals. So for this level, look at the 2 groups of what? Of living things. We have plants, and we have what? Animals. So you look at it, say plants, we have 2 groups. Animals such as what? Mammals. We have rabbits, we have monkey, we have goat, we have etc. We have insects, birds, all these are what? Are animals. Then we have plants such as the maize, the neem tree, a lot of any plant at all is a living thing. That means that the plant can do or can perform this. Once the thing can perform this, it's a living thing. All those I mentioned, that theory, they all can perform this, and therefore they are referred to as what? Living things. Good. Now let's go deep into the characteristics and see what movement is, what respiration is, what sensitivity is, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition is for living things. What are they, and how are they classified, or how do they qualify an organism to be what? To be living. Good. So that's about that. Now let's go straight into these life activities. Straight into the life activities. Straight into them. Good. So first of all, we have what? So the first life process is movement. It's movement. You're looking at what? At movement. Now let's see. Let's go to the note and read this. Movement is the process by which living things move part of their body or the whole body from one place to another. Movement is the process by which living things will move part of their body or the whole body from one place to another. When an organism is able to move the whole body from one place to another, it's referred to as what? Locomotion. Say it after me. Locomotion. It's referred to as what? Locomotion. Now let's go again. Now, this is the difference because some people have argued that plants don't move. Yes, plants move, but plants do not what? Locomote. Now, when I say movement, when I stand this way, I can give you some moves. These are some moves. I just move my hand to give you some dance or moves. But the moment I take the whole body, and move here, what I have done is locomotion. When I'm able to carry the body from this side to that side, that is locomotion. But if I'm here and I begin to give you those moves, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, these ones are what referred to as movement. So movement involves moving of the parts of the body or the whole body. So in movement, you can either move parts of the body or the whole body. So in movement, we move parts of the body, or we can move what? The whole body. Or the whole body. So that's movement. Movement comprises of what? Of moving parts of the body or the whole body. When you move the whole body from one place to another, like I just demonstrated, it's referred to as what? Locomotion. So locomotion. So locomotion is when an organism moves its body from one point, the whole body from one point to another. So we animals or human beings, we do what? We can locomote at the same time we can walk. We can move. So that is what? It's locomotion, and that is what? It's movement. Good. So that's about that. Let's go to the next one, which is respiration. Now, respiration is very simple as well. Now, it is a process, I'm reading from the note. It's a process by which living things will breathe in order to obtain energy for their activities. Of course, for us to perform these activities, for you to move, you need energy, because energy is defined as the ability to do what? To do work. And it is this guy that gives us what? The energy. So we respire for what? For energy. So in respiration is the process by which living things we breathe in in order for us to obtain what? Energy. So the breathing we do, the in and out, is for us to get what? To get energy. How do we get this energy? Now the oxygen we take into our system, the oxygen, O2 gas we take into our system, it burns the food that we have taken to release what? The energy. Remember that energy can neither be created nor what? Destroyed. In the food we eat, there is chemical energy in it. Once we respire, it enters into us, then the oxygen in the air we breathe in burns down the food to release what? Energy. You could know that you've been told that oxygen supports what? Burning. So when there's oxygen, the more the burning, and you see us moving with that. So when you're asked to explain respiration, what is respiration? Let's go. Respiration, read with me, is the process by which living things breathe. They breathe in order to what? To obtain energy for their activities. For us to carry all these activities one to the rest, we need to respond. So it's very important for you to do what? To respond, because the energy that will carry you and do all this is coming from who? Respiration. So that is about respiration. Now, the oxygen taken during the process of respiration is used to break down food to release energy. The oxygen that we take in from the respiration process is used to break down the food we eat to release what? Energy. And this energy is used for, so let's see, it's used for the activities here. Energy is, you can see the energy is for growth, repair and replace of what? Tissue, and also what? Movement. In fact, the energy is used for this. So energy from, let me link this one, look at the link. I'll link this one here. Then I'll put on this uses of the energy. Uses of the energy. It's used for what? For growth. The energy is used for growth. So growth will not occur once you don't have the energy. It's used for what? The repair. Repair and replacement of tissues or tissue, yeah. And also the energy is used for what? For movement. So if you are asked to give the function of the energy from respiration, is used for what? For growth, for repair of worn out tissues, also replacement and all, and also for movement. So this is what respiration is about. Good. Then we come to sensitivity, my favorite here. When we say sensitivity, let's read once again. Our irritability is the process by which living things respond to stimuli. As living things, when somebody gives you a knock, you will shout again. Why? Because you're a living thing. If that same person knocks the table or slaps the table will not respond. Why? But the table is not a living thing. And all living things must respond to a stimulus. The moment you step on a sharp, then you move your leg. Why? Because you are living to respond to a stimulus. And there has never been a case, or imagine this, that there's one time it wants to rain, or there's raining season, and once it starts to rain, everybody is running to look for shelter. Everybody wants to hide somewhere under people's containers and kiosks. They want to stand there. And as we are running, a cocoa-sellers table is also looking for shelter. But it's looking for shelter. People, if the table wants to also look for shelter, what will happen? If I start to, I will run. Why? Because we know that table is a non-living thing. So it is not supposed to respond to changes in the world, in the environment. Or you slap a table and say, hey bro, what? The table responds to stimuli. It's not possible. You see? Good. So when it comes to this, we are saying that the process by which living things will respond to stimuli. Stimuli. And stimuli refers to changes in our environment. Changes in our environment. If the weather changes, we can respond to. If it's shining too much, we can tell. The weather is cold, we can tell. Stones and these things cannot tell. They are just there. Whether it is shining, it's raining, they are still there. So they are what? Non-living things. So stimuli refers to what? Changes in the environment of an organism. In fact, organism is anything, once again, that can carry out what? The life processes. An organism is anything that can carry out the life process. So we are living organisms. We are things. But just that we can perform certain life work activities. So that's sensitivity. That's sensitivity. Good. And what are some of the changes I said we can respond to? What some of the changes or stimuli can be light, you see there, water, touch, temperature, pressure, sound, etc. Once there's loud noise, we can detect this is what is loud, this one is nice, because we are living things. That's very important. Then growth. Growth is the process by which organisms will increase in what? In size and weight with changes in their body shape and what? And function. When we say growth, is the process by which living organisms will increase in what? In size and weight with changes in their body shape and what? Function. This is very important. When it comes to growth, you can see, or if you look at yourself, you say you have moved from one point, you have grown, and you are seeing changes as you are getting to this your age in the functions of your body. Now, when we take girls for example, let's try girls for example. Now we have this beautiful girl standing here. I don't want to give her a name now, but let's say I have this beautiful, what is her leg? Let me give this girl a very nice leg. Let's give this girl, a concerned girl, so she has this, and she has that. Now this is a girl. Then after some time, when you know these girls will grow nicely, and there will be changes in their what? In their body. Don't mind my drawing, right? Good. So, yes. Now they can ask you a question. Accept them. Good. So we are saying that growth is what? Is basically the increase or the process by which living things will increase in size. Look at this girl we have here, nice one. This girl A, and A became what? Became A, but this was a bigger A. You understand what I'm saying? So you can see what I'm trying to say. Let's go back to the function or the reading. It says the process by which living organisms will increase in what? In size and weight, with changes in their body shape and function. With changes in their what? Their body shape and what function. Reproduction will tell you why this broadening. There's a reason for that. But if you look at this one, very straight. But here there's a broadening, changing in their body shape and function. That's for the girls. For boys, you begin to have that their mustaches and their beard. And the last one, no, the last one, reproduction. Now we are reproduction. Reproduction, the best topic for all students. Now, when we come to reproduction, what is reproduction? The process by which living organisms can give rise to young ones of their own kind. We can now reproduce, we can give birth to offsprings. Stones cannot give birth, they cannot reproduce and get another stone out of them. No. But as living things, I'm telling you, we can do what? We can reproduce. So reproduction, let's read from here. Let's read reproduction. It is the process by which living things will give rise to young ones, which we call the offsprings of their own kind. So if you're a human being, you give birth to a human being. If you're a cat, you give birth to a cat. That is what reproduction is about. Reproduce means bring forth another one of your kind. Bring forth what? Another one of your kind. So reproduction means we are bringing what? We are bringing forth young ones of our own kind. So reproduction is the process by which living things will give rise to young ones, which we call offsprings of their own kind. Very important. Then we come to excretion. Excretion is the process by which living things will remove metabolic waste substances from their body. For excretions, living things are removing what? Metabolic waste substances. As these activities are going on, waste substances are also being produced. The process by which we get rid of these waste processes or waste substances out of our body is referred to as excrete. So we excrete. Excretion means we are bringing out waste products. Example, sweat, urine. They are what? They are excretory products from the body. Good. Then so that's our excretion. And everybody, every living thing must excrete. You, as a living thing, you have to do all this. If you don't undergo all this, you are not what? A living thing. You are not a living thing. Then we come to the last life process, which is what? Nutrition. Very, very important. In fact, this is one of the most important parts, because once you don't take in the food, you can't respond to get the energy, and these ones can't perform. But what is nutrition? When we say nutrition, what is nutrition? What is nutrition as well? Nutrition is the process by which living organisms will obtain what? Food. For nutrition is the process by which living things will obtain what? Food. Or living things. Let me read from here. Nutrition is the process. Oh, let me go back to excretion. Let's look at something there. Excretion is the process by which living things remove metabolic waste substances from the world, from the body. What are metabolic waste substances? Metabolism is a chemical reaction in the cell to give what? Energy. So once these metabolic activities happen or occur, waste products are made out, and these waste products are removed out of the body, and the process of doing that is what? It's called excretion. It's called what? Excretion. Good. Then we have the nutrition. Let's come back to nutrition. Nutrition is the process by which living things obtain what? Food. So in nutrition, we are looking at getting food. Very, very important. I know some of you by this time you have eaten, so you are happy watching. Others who have not eaten, so as they are watching it, they are smelling the scent from the kitchen. What is happening there? Because as a living thing, when you wake up from bed, everybody wants to get food because we are living things. Living things must what? Must eat or must obtain what? Nutrients by feeding. Let's put it that way. They must obtain what? Nutrients so that the nutrients will allow them to live. If not, that they will die. You get the point? They become non-living. They become non-living. Because once you don't get the food to supply you the energy, or the energy that we need is in the food, and we don't have the food. So it's very important for us to undergo this nutrition process. And in the process, we said we have plants and also we have what? Animals. We have plants. We have plants and we have what? Animals. At this level, we are looking at these guys, animals. Now, for nutrition, plants are able to make their own food. It's a process by which living things obtain their food. There are some that will get their food directly. There are some that will get to indirectly. For plants, they get their food directly by manufacturing their own food. And I know you know of photosynthesis, a process by which green plants or plants manufacture their own food using raw materials and simple inorganic substances to produce what? Organic substances, which are very complex. Then digestion breaks it down to a simple form. Then we absorb it. So, but these animals will depend directly or indirectly on plants or for food. That is when it comes to ecosystems. So animals can be direct or what? Or indirect. So plants, once again, can manufacture their own food, and they are referred to as what? Autotrophs. Autotrophs mean that they can manufacture their own food, but for heterotrophs, they don't produce their own food. Trophic simply means feeding. Autotroph means automatic feeders. That means they can produce their own food, but we cannot do that. The reason, we'll look at that shortly when we get the structure of the cells. There's a particular component of their cell that allows them to have that advantage over us. And we like that. It's okay. They should prepare it. Then we feed on it. It's okay that way. Good. So these are the life processes that every organism that calls itself a living thing does what? Goes through or will go through. Thank you very much for joining this class. I know you have enjoyed it. When we meet again, we'll look at the difference between living and non-living things. Then we look at the difference between plants and animals, their similarities. Then we go deep into the structure of the cell. Structure of what? Of this living cell. I'm going to tell you so many things, so many interesting things about the living cell and how human beings do what? Function. Remember, to always what? To always subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend that you subscribe, because we have this place come to work very, very interesting. See you in the next class.